This video will walk you through how to set your rotation interval with Proxyrack proxies. So first of all, what is a rotation interval? So this only affects sticky ports. It does not affect random ports. So a sticky port is a port that you'll connect to, and the proxy server will assign you to an external IP address that will remain static for a set amount of time and then rotate. So the rotation interval is how long it remains static before it rotates. So you can set this rotation interval in a few different ways. A couple ways in your user dashboard, and then you can also use the Proxyrack API. So the first way, we'll actually show you two ways in your dashboard how to set this. So if you wanted to set the rotation interval for all of your sticky ports, you can easily just come down here to the rotation interval dropdown and select whatever rotation interval you'd like. So by default, it's 10 minutes. We can set it to 5 minutes if we'd like. This will affect all of your sticky ports. If you wanted to change it for just one port or have a different rotation interval for different ports, what you can do is come in here to the add port settings option and enter a port number. So we start with port 10,000 and go down, so we'll just do port 10,000. And then select our rotation interval here. So say now we want 30 minutes just for this port. What you can do is if you want to set this along with some other settings here, you can say that you want to apply it as default for all the ports. This will get rid of the port number here. We won't do that right now. We'll just set it for this port. If you wanted to in the future though, setting this will be a default for all the ports, and you can come in and override it individually if you'd like. So for now, we're going to just set the rotation interval for port 10,000 to 30 minutes and click save. And then once that saves, you'll see that the default port setting is already here. We got 30 minutes for port 10,000. So that's how you can do it in your dashboard. Another way that you can do it is using the Proxyrack API. So in our authentication tab, we see our username and our API key. So we can make a change to our username and API key wherever we have have configured our proxies. So that could be in code, it could be in your browser, it could be in an application, wherever you've configured your proxies with your username and your password. So what we can do, we can actually set this a few different ways using the API. So we can use the dash syntax or the semicolon syntax. I'll show you all the different ways. And I'm just going to copy my username real quick and paste it a few times so you can see how we're making this change, the different ways that we can do it. So first with the dash syntax, we can say refresh seconds and then choose the number of seconds you want for the rotation interval. So if we wanted 3 minutes, it would be 180 seconds. So that's one way with the dash syntax. Another way with the dash syntax is saying refresh minutes. So say we wanted 60 minutes, or we can set it higher to 180 minutes. There's no maximum for the rotation interval. There is a minimum of 3 minutes, but there's no maximum. And then the semicolon syntax is very similar, except we're using a semicolon. So we can say refresh seconds equals 180, and refresh minutes equals, we'll also do 180 for 180 minutes. If we're using the semicolon syntax here, we need to put quotation marks around both our username and our API key. So we'll add the API key in here and put quotation marks around it so that our proxy server picks up on this parameter that you've added. You can also do this in your dashboard at the area where you configure your proxies or you set them up for exporting. So here you can choose whatever format you would like. A lot of applications or code require you to use host or DNS port and then username and password. So if you wanted to add your rotation interval to everything and use the Proxyrack API to set it, you could come in here and just say, for example, refresh minutes 3. And this will set the rotation interval to 3 minutes for all of your proxies. It automatically shows up here. You can copy out the list or download it and insert it into your application or your code, your browser, wherever you need it to be. So that's how to set the rotation interval with Proxyrack proxies. If you have any questions, feel free to contact us at support, and we will get back to you as soon as possible. Thanks.